And when Fat Amy swung on the rope.
Oh, the best. So much fun.
We have to see it again. We have to see it again.
Absolutely. Yeah. If we want to get the nuance, we need to see it again. Absolutely.
And then you sign up 2 people and you're already making money.
We would
Wow.
already make money.
This is making so much sense to me right now.
Hey, guys, what's going on?
Guys, you got to get in on this. So now that we learned that the dollop actually doesn't know who we are, Tom has this amazing new system of sales where you make money off of other people's sales.
Wait. Does Noah get the credit for signing up? I want to tell him about it. You see,
No,
what you do is...
Guys, listen. That's the beauty. We all get credit.
What?
And we all get a percentage of Eli and Heath's sales after their initial buy-in period.
All right. Wait. Is this like a pyramid scheme? It sounds like a pyramid scheme.
He's so pretty and yet so stupid. Look, this is multi-level marketing. Nothing like a Ponzi scheme.
Okay, even I know that that's just a different word for a Ponzi scheme, and I wear Velcro shoes.
Wait. Are you guys telling me that this business venture is like the subject of today's episode?
Oh, man. Yeah, Lucinda, tell your brother I don't have anything to talk to him about.
I can't believe this.
Now, hold on a second, guys. Fellas, come on. Guys.
So, Tom, is your day job really a Ponzi scheme?
I mean, the company in America, so, yeah.
Got it.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to ramble. That's right. It's time for Citation Needed, the podcast where we choose a subject, read a single article about it on Wikipedia, and pretend we're experts because this is the internet and that's how it works now. I'm No Illusions, and I'll be the scruffy nerf herder leading this attack on the Death Star, which only really makes sense if I'm implying that Lando Calrissian was also a scruffy nerf herder since Han never led an attack on the Death Star, but whatever, I'll read the line. But I'm not going to do it alone.
What fucking pedantic
If only I had something to pick these nits with. First up, we have 2 men you always catch with their shirts off when you Jedi drunk dial them, Eli and Tom.
Okay, well, if you FaceTime me hoping to see a face, that's on you. That's all I'm saying.
I'm just so glad I don't know what Jedi drunk dial means. Like, I feel like no one who knows what that means should ever take their shirt off, actually, because nobody who knows what that means ever has a reason to take their shirt off.
These are not the androids you're looking for.
You can shower around and under, guys. Come on. Also joining us tonight, 2 guys who can't stop telling you how they used to bullseye womp rats back home, Cecil and Heath.
Guys, never bullseye any womp rats without their consent. That's like rule number 1, okay?
Yeah, but if you do, you want to keep a check for like 130 grand. Also some penicillin. Because you have the clap now.
I don't feel like that was money well spent. I'm just saying, that's hush money that we now all know about. That's no hush involved.
Do you think that fucking the porn star was going to take him down? Like the pussy grabbing didn't? Like when the pussy grabbing didn't take him down, his first thought must have been, fuck, I wasted that 130 grand, didn't I? I know, right? Now, before we make the jump to light speed here, we'd like to thank the heroic patron army that funds this show. Without you, this Rebel base wouldn't have anywhere near as many blinky lights and shit. And if you'd like to learn how to enlist, be sure to stick around till the end of the show. And with that out of the way, tell us, Heath, what person, place, thing, concept, phenomenon, or event will we be talking about today?
All right. Well, thanks to patron Michael Hughes, we're going to be talking about the father of Medicare, Charles Ponzi. That's not. I don't really believe what I just said.
Pains you to read that, doesn't it? Yeah, right.
It was just a joke. You can fucking change it, it turns out. All you got to do is hit backspace. It's fucking amazing.
All right, Cecil, you read this article, or at least convince somebody to convince somebody to convince somebody to read it for you. So are you ready to Sherpa us up this pyramid?
Well, I've hired pack animals that have hired other pack animals, so I'm ready to go here.
All right, there we go. All right, so given your opening line in the notes, the only sensible question I can really ask is, now what are we talking about again?
All right, so this is the story of Charles Ponzi, or as his friends called him, Carlo, Pietro, Giovanni, Guglielmo, Telebaldo, Ponzi.
All right, it's child abuse. Hyphenated names and parents who hate each other. That's how you end up on this show. That name is child abuse.
Yeah. This guy learned his name and was like, okay. I think I'll fuck the world so hard, they'll name this kind of fucking the world after me. How about that? Okay, 7 names? Sure. And you get a little, and you get a little, and you get a little.
I know. I hear that. I have a new life goal. That's to have a new kind of fucking named after me.
Right?
So Charles Ponzi is the kind of immigrant that Donald Trump keeps warning us about.
That's weird. His name didn't sound Mexican.
Yeah, no
Well,
shit.
he's Italian, so he's like Europe's Mexican.
All right, so where does this story start?
Charles Ponzi was born in 1882 and grew up in Italy, and he started his working life as a postal worker. His friends were all more wealthy than he was, so when they went off to college in Rome, so did he. While he did stay in Rome for 4 years, he didn't graduate. And after all his friends left Rome, he was broke and he had no prospects.
Okay, well, I gotta be honest, that sounds great. I wish I had no prospects and was broke after college. Instead, I had no prospects and way less money than broke.
Right.
Yeah, but think about how prepared for this our education made us, huh?
No, good point. Good point. Let's hear that pigeon again, buddy.
Wow.
What did we say? I thought, no, we didn't say that was a good one.
So a lot of his friends were traveling to America and returning wealthy. The article doesn't make the connection that they sounded like they were wealthy before.
Well, yeah, right.
In any case, Ponzi's family suggested he do the same thing and help return his down on their luck family to their former glory.
Oh, I love that. No pressure. Oh, hey, if you would, be a dear and win the lottery tomorrow, too. Okay, thanks.
Right. Yeah. No, Charlie, it's not that we want the entire Atlantic Ocean between you and us. We just think it'll be good for you financially. $1 for every time. We've all heard that, right? Right? For your family.
So he heads to the United States and he gambles all his money away on the ride over. So there he is on the East Coast and he doesn't speak the language and he's looking to take some real Americans' jobs. And so he starts working as a dishwasher and he sleeps on the floor of the restaurant. He works his way up to waiter after learning English, and then he gets fired for shortchanging customers and stealing.
He's just convincing people to show up with food and give it to him first before they start, which he then serves to the people who already sat down. And then he sells the food from the kitchen to like the next door restaurant, the whole thing.
Okay, wait, just to summarize, though, it sounds like he's assimilating into American culture just fine, actually.
Also,
Not sure.
Also, sounds like the odds this episode is going to get a presidential retweet just went way up. So,
Yes. So Ponzi heads to Montreal. At this point, he's fluent in French, too. He becomes a banker at a bank for Italian immigrants. The owner of this bank is offering 6% interest on deposits, which is way more than other banks. But his investments aren't making that kind of money, and he's using the new influx of deposits to pay the interest on old deposits. The owner of the bank eventually hightails it out of Canada to Mexico and takes with him a significant amount of the bank's money.
See, now, and there's the problem. If he just waited a little bit longer, it would have worked out. What he should have done is just given tax cuts to the largest depositors, and that way they could share it with the smaller depositors, and that would all just fix itself in the end.
I agree.
Problem solved.
Original NAFTA right there.
Ponzi is positively inspired by this, so he decides to head back to the United States to make his fortune. He's broke, though, so he goes to one of the bank's customers, Canadian Warehousing, and no one's there. So he writes a check to himself out of the checkbook. He writes a check for $423.58 and forges the signature of the company's director.
All right. He clearly spent a weird amount of time on that number.
Right?
Exactly. Hi, I'd like to cash this check for the real amount of $423.58. Normal, just normal, random
sitting
amount.
at home. How about the $456.78? No, damn it. Think, Charlie. Think.
$425.50. Stupid. That's your fake number. Get it together.
So he gets questioned by the police shortly after cashing the check and immediately folds like a cheap fucking card table.
Well, his
He
name's
turns
written
over his
on it.
wrists. And he says, I'm guilty. They put him in jail for 3 years. And during that time, he doesn't want to tell his mom that he's in prison. So he sends her letters, and he says his job is the special assistant to the prison warden.
Fantastic. Dear Mom, doing great in America. I'm really into crayons now, as you can see. Sorry about the cum stain. That was me, not somebody else. Talk to you soon. Love, Charles.
That's what I have to say. He's not an impressively hardened criminal, but I mean, you never know. Prison showers could change that.
All right, so that's how long it took him to fuck this up. I bet he doesn't make that kind of mistake again anytime soon, huh?
Well, in 1911, he's released and he heads to America to help smuggle in other Italian immigrants across the border. And he's caught and he spent time in Atlanta prison then.
Wait. Smuggle him across the border? Like between Italy and America? That's the ocean. Come on, guys, the water's fine.
So after his release, he heads back to Boston and he starts working in a mining camp as a nurse. He hears about another nurse who suffered some burns on her body without actually knowing this person. Ponzi donates 220 inches of his skin on his back and legs to her. He had complications resulting from the operation and got pleurisy. And he also got fired for taking off time to heal, I guess.
Oh, God.
That's the best attempt at fucking a nurse ever. I brought you some skin. You want my skin? What the fuck? Goes to her house like Love Actually, but instead of the note cards, he's peeling rectangles of skin off his back. Is this working?
I just love that the one time this guy did something good, he also got fucked. Like, he's just sitting there in the hospital bed with a pink slip covered in bandages, just like, okay, that's enough of that. Back to the fucking the world so hard they name it after me plan. Got it. Uh-huh.
Before that, he's just like, oh, she is going to love this homemade card I got her from my own skin. That won't be creepy. Guys, is this creepy? I feel like this a little creepy.
All right, so it sounds like he turned over a new leaf. Do we choose the straight and narrow from this point on?
No, like for a minute. When he was looking for work, he met a girl named Rose Gnecco. I don't know. He proposed to her, and they were married in 1918. He has an idea at this point to sell advertising and a business listing to companies. And he goes into business trying to sell this idea and then promptly goes out of business because it's a fucking stupid idea.
I love when he meets a girl and then he proposes to her, but she's not the girl that he just gave 220 inches of his skin to. Because I feel like that'd always be like a little weird. Like, hey, honey, I bought you flowers. Oh, flowers. That's nice. Is the card written in your skin? No. Oh, just flowers. I see where I rate. Like, how do you live up to that one?
So his wife's family had a small fruit stand that he took over, and shortly after that failed too. So.
Fruit stand?
Yeah.
Wow, you got to be trying to fuck that up. Okay, so we have a guy who basically failed.
There's always money in the banana stand.
Right? All right, so basically we've got a guy who's filed that everything that he did so far sounds pretty qualified for the presidency, but when does he finally get around to succeeding?
Well, after the break, I'm going to tell you about the time he successfully got a scheme named after him.
Well, that's a success, yeah.
Hey, podcast listener. Tired of unexpected fees, service outages, and confusing censorious policies on your local funding platform? Why not try Ponzion.com?
Ponzion.com is a great way to support the creators you love while making money doing it.
That's right. You can make money for you and the creators you love from the comfort of your very own home.
After setting up your initial pledge, you'll be given access to our special members-only invitation system, where you can sign up friends and fellow fans to help support the creators you love. But you won't just be supporting your creators, because 10% of every pledge made goes straight to you.
But that's not all. In addition to the 10% from each of the Ponzions you'll sign up, you'll receive 1% from everyone down your Ponzion chain forever.
Enlist just 100 people to your Ponzion chain, and you could make hundreds of dollars a month just for supporting the artists you love.
Ponzion.com. This idea would absolutely work if we weren't joking.
And we're back. When we last left our hero, Charles Ponzi was a thief, but he had yet to achieve thieving greatness.
His fraudulent ship had not yet come in. In 1919, he set up an office in Boston, basically coming up with ideas and trying to sell them.
Oh, okay. So he invented 3M.
Yeah.
Cool.
3M. We don't have stuff you can buy, but we advertise anyway. I don't get it.
So at one point, a company in Spain sent him a message asking him to send his advertising catalog to them. In the envelope, there were these international reply coupons, or IRCs. These coupons were how he thought he was going to make the big bucks.
Wait, so he sent a letter to the Prince of Nigeria about a huge stamp collection he needed to unlock, and that was how's that going to work? I don't understand why you would think you would make money there.
The IRCs are basically these little postage payment tickets that allowed the person sending something to another country to pay for the postage for the reply. They would be bought in one country and then exchanged in another for the postage there. But if there was a discrepancy in the price that they paid for it, then the IRC could potentially be worth more in another country. In Italy, the cost of shipping was much lower than in the United States, so he thought he could make a killing on these. He started telling everyone he could make 400% profit on these coupons for stamps.
What? He's just taping stamps all over a bag lady and sending her to Michigan to turn nickel cans into dimes. Like garbatrage is the word for that, actually. Garbatrage. What are you, Bernie Sanders financing your campaign?
Now, Heath, that sounds far more realistic than a Jewish president. Don't be silly. There's a lady, there's cans.
Wouldn't he have to explain to somebody like how he was going to make this money? And then, like, if that made sense, would everyone just go, "Oh yeah, great idea, thanks"?
Yeah,
like, what is his role in this transaction exactly? Like,
Well, they needed somebody to fraud him.
okay, you got it. Okay, middleman. Gotcha.
So he's a
Okay.
middleman. So he tried to get a loan from the Hanover Trust Company, and they just said no. So he tried to set up a stock company and said he could get double people's money in 90 days. At this point, people were getting 5% interest on deposits, so it sounded amazing. And in his first month, he had 18 investors and $1,800.
That's $54,900 in today's money.
Oh, sure. That, you know, that.
Okay, so wait. So this guy basically goes to the bank and he says, "You don't understand. These women are just looking for hot dates in my area." Which, but that just, I love the idea of the look on the dude's face at the bank going, "Are you fucking kidding me?" But that doesn't work. And then he realized that most Americans are dumber than banks. We should have seen Solar Roads coming, I guess. So all the way back then. So what's the next step for him?
So he goes out, he gets new investors, and then he paid last month's investors with this month's deposits. And he set up a larger office as people started spreading the word of this black magic fuckery that he's doing. And in February and March of 1920, 2 months after he started, he went from $5,000 per month to $25,000 per month invested.
What did people think he was investing in that would move like Bitcoin, like fractals, hydras? What the fuck?
Heath, please do not compare Bitcoin to a Ponzi scheme. Ponzi schemes give you paper. They give you a little piece of paper that says
Bitcoin is the money of the future, you guys. It's Bitcoin, tulips, stocks from late 90s tech startups. Now, if you guys will excuse me, I'm going to sink all my money into something like safe, like real estate.
Whatever. Lose money there. Okay, so he found a way to sell Americans an unlikely promise of getting rich quick by having less money right now. I'm guessing business was booming.
He is totally killing it at this point. He hired a bunch of salesmen to help get investments, and they headed out to other parts of the East Coast to drum up business. In May of that same year, he made $420,000, and by June, $2.5 million. In July, he's making $1 million a week.
What the fuck? Why is hold on. Because it's fucking 1919.
Yes!
If I'm making millions of dollars a week and I'm doing it by stealing shit, I'm going to work like 2 weeks. Then I'm going to go meet my old boss down in Mexico for drinks.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, that's about $23 million in today's money. Jesus.
Oh, I got to go to work tomorrow. I'm low on Well, not money. I don't know what am I fucking low on.
It's even worse than that because at this point, people are going nuts. They're mortgaging their homes and investing with them. They're taking their profits and they're reinvesting.
Oh
them.
my God.
Ponzi took some of this money and deposited it into Hanover Bank, and he also bought a controlling interest in that bank.
And then he bought Moody's and bought Standard & Poor's. But he failed, though. I feel like he forgot to buy the GOP. That's how you run that play. You have to also buy the GOP
Okay, all right,
at the end of
but
that.
I'm still at a loss as to why anyone buys what the GOP is selling. So
Well, souls are valuable to a lot of people.
So at this point, most of Ponzi's investors were immigrants. But soon, the Boston elite were knocking on his door with bushels full of money to heap on him. 75% of the Boston police force also invested. He had paper boys investing, rich bankers, even his closest associates and employees. The article says, quote, summarily, he was quite literally willing to take any cent he could get his hands on.
Ah, like Matt Lauer.
Jesus Christ.
I like the chutzpah on this guy. Like, if you're going to steal from the cops. How could that backfire? That'd be fine.
So even though he was paying out money to people who had joined and wanted to pull out, he hadn't figured out a way to turn the international postage coupons into cash in the other country. Also, logistically, it was a nightmare. Ponzi would have had to fill a Titanic-sized ship with only these coupons and ship them to the States based on how much money he was taking in. And people weren't cashing out anyway. They kept reinvesting.
Okay, but why is he still focused on the stamp coupons at this point? Yeah, right. Fucking matter. He's running a multi-million-dollar scam, and he's like, okay, well, if these have a cash value of 1/100 of a penny each, it says right here on the back. What do I need? A boat?
Heath, come on, Heath. He was waiting for double coupon Tuesday. This would have all worked out on double coupon Tuesday.
Well, yeah, but I mean, all jokes aside, though, that leaves the very real question, like, what is he doing with the investments?
Oh, he's spending the fuck out of that money. Ponzi buys a mansion. He bought a car, which at the time was a really big deal. He bought 2 first-class tickets to Italy for he and his wife, but then he changed them to have his mother come over. He also buys a macaroni company and a wine company in hopes of getting cash to repay the people who invested in the coupons that he can't figure out how to make a profit on.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Wait. So the Italian guy brings his mother to him, buys macaroni and wine. We're sure he didn't just grow a big stereotype mustache and spend the rest of his life kissing his fingers. Mwah, 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 grazie.
That's racist. God.
They're not a race anymore. They're fine. Remember when their president like ruined their government? We were all like, blowjob parties, and they were like, our economy, and we were like, boo, you're European.
I gotta say, I have nothing but appreciation for the guy who suffered through college poverty and then bought his own macaroni and cheese company, though, right? I just imagine like giant fountains of mac and cheese in front of him. He's swimming through them like Scrooge McDuck. Have all the ramen.
So a Boston financial writer says there's no way this is a legit investment.
You think?
And Ponzi sues him for libel. And he wins $500,000.
Oh, Jesus.
Basically, this stopped other people from trying to investigate what he was doing, or at least speaking about it for the time being.
Okay, new business plan. How many journalists are there?
We'll get him on a boat.
How did he win this? How did he win this case? Like, did anyone ask him, like, seriously, like one question during the case that's just like, how does this work exactly? Okay, he won.
Well, basically, we had England's version of libel laws back then, so you had to sew your mouth shut if you lost. So, on July 29th, 1920, the Boston Post wrote an article that made the investment seem like it had merit, and it was great PR. People read the article and started giving him even more money. At this point, he's making $250,000 a day.
Hey, Cecil, as someone whose debit card got denied at dinner the other night, I'm going to need you to start making this sound bad. Because right now I'm ready to start one of these bad boys. You know what I'm saying, C-Dog? The waiter brought it back, right, and we had to do like, try this one thing. So,
okay, Eli, word of the wise, it's crazy. Don't use a debit card. That's nuts. That's your money. Use a credit card. That's like a Ponzi scheme for your wallet. It's just portable.
Those are all maxed out from my college debt. You were saying how this went bad. You were telling me.
Eli started
how
a
it went
Ponzi
bad.
scheme with himself at the top and bottom. Yeah.
All right, but I gotta feel like with this much money coming in, somebody had to really be looking into this, didn't they?
Well, there's several articles that come out that were asking hard questions about the investment. The Post had asked the financial journalist who headed Dow Jones and Company what he thought. And he said that he thought Ponzi was promising some pretty staggering returns on investments. He suspiciously did not have any of his money invested in.
Okay. It feels like they're not focusing on the right thing to be skeptical about. Like, it's weird because we do have secret stocks that just constantly double in value, but Ponzi doesn't have any. We don't sell those to Italian people. It sounds questionable. What's going on?
No, I don't want to get sued or anything, so I'm not saying this is a scheme, but I would rather feed my money to a hungry chihuahua and wait for him to shit it out than give it to this guy. Don't sue me. Don't sue me. I didn't.
You do. The journalist also said that in order to cover the investments, there needed to be 160 million of these coupons in circulation. And there's only 27,000. He also discovered while the profit margin was large, it's not large enough to cover the overhead of the redemption of these coupons.
Okay, all right, easy solution. Print more coupons. You just need a catchy name for the printing press, though, like US Mint.
US Mint.
Print more when you run out.
Also a Ponzi scheme, by the way.
Okay, so
Also a Ponzi scheme.
It's backed by the full faith and credit of
It's like Medicare.
the hopes and
It's the
dreams
same
of all
thing.
of us.
It's the exact same thing.
None of it's real. It's all an illusion.
Oh my God, I'm going to stab you.
okay, so they say there's no such thing as bad publicity. I feel like Ponzi's about to discover they're full of shit when they say that.
So these stories start a panic, and a ton of people were running back to Ponzi to get their money out. They line up outside his office. So Ponzi walks out, chatted with people, bought them coffee and donuts, and a lot of these people left with their money still invested.
Love this guy.
Okay, well, been there. So many times I've been given a big rant about something and somebody just, sensually rubs a donut on my face. Goes, my mom's tricky. I get it.
Like Matt Lauer.
Wait, an important detail, because that sounds crazy, but like, what kind of donut? I mean, that'll really answer the...
Doesn't matter, Tom. Doesn't matter.
So the local DA was not convinced, and so he decided to audit the company. The article said that this was a challenge because, quote, his bookkeeping system consisted merely of index cards with investors' names.
What the fuck? Like his financial books are just like a recipe box, like with like a bunch of index cards stained with red sauce. Like he's like licking them. Like, these scams are delicious.
Judgy.
So Ponzi then hires a publicity agent. The agent is enfold and later described Ponzi as a, quote, financial idiot who didn't seem to know how to add, unquote. This agent then finds some documents which clearly spell out the scheme. Ponzi's stealing from the newer investors to pay off anyone cashing out.
Okay, but why would he be keeping documents like that? Right? Would he check with his secretary every so often? Like, Carol, can you come in here? Yeah, I want you to sift through the numbers and check if we're a giant scam or not. Still a giant scam? Yeah, great. Thanks. That'll be all, Carol. Giant scam. Got it.
Yeah, like he's got to know, like the publicity agent would be literally the last thing you'd want when stealing money.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Oh, I'm getting away with this. I'm going to need someone to make a great big public fuss or I'm going to feel unloved. What?
All right, so beginning of the end?
Yeah, pretty much. The publicity agent goes public with this knowledge and writes a story that basically declares Ponzi insolvent. At the same time, a bank commissioner starts looking into the Hanover Bank that Ponzi was a controlling shareholder in and sees that they're making large loans to Ponzi. With this knowledge being public, the investors in the scheme decide to get their money back. And at a certain point, Ponzi is overdrawn. In fact, at this point, people who are not reimbursed are hit with the news that Ponzi is in fact $7 million in debt.
Yeah, okay, $7 million. That's $102,425,696.97 overdrawn in today's money. That's like how many people basically at that point donated their money to this guy's, well, Daddy said I needed to be successful fund. What?
That's a lot smaller than the tax cut we gave Walmart this year, though, to be fair.
That's true. Also a Ponzi scheme. Fun fact.
The bank commissioner seized Hanover Bank because of all the shoddy transaction it was making with Ponzi, and this foiled Ponzi's failsafe to use the vault there to pay out all his outstanding withdrawals.
Yeah, and that's weird because after you give the first guy a vault, you're pretty much out of shit to offer. You're just like, I don't know, I got this green lamp and a visor.
That's true. On August 12th, Ponzi surrendered to federal officials, and they charged him with mail fraud and larceny. So he posts bail, but the bail bondsman decided to revoke it because he didn't trust Ponzi. Go figure. I mean...
It's Dog the Bounty Hunter's dad. Ponzi's about to get on a plane. He just gets flying tackled by like a lion centaur or whoever Dog's dad would be.
I'm going to pray with you, brother.
All right, so what happens to all the investors?
His investors lost their shirt, so to speak.
Good.
They're paying 30% on the dollar. His investors wind up losing $20 million, which is something like $225 million today. Ponzi was convicted of 86 counts of mail fraud and would have faced a lifetime in jail, but instead plea bargained 1 count and got 5 years in prison.
1 count? What the fuck? 1 count? What's the 1919 equivalent to being black? Because I bet he's glad he wasn't that. Wait a minute. That's still black, isn't it? I think it's still black. That's what I thought.
Either that or Irish. I'm not sure.
All right, so you were supposed to make this sound bad for Eli, but 5 years?
You're running out of time.
5
You're running out
years?
of
That's
time.
all?
It gets a little worse. So that's all the federal government charges him with. After he gets out, he's then charged with state charges of larceny. He wound up suing the state, claiming double jeopardy. The state answered with, "What is go fuck yourself?" And he lost the case. He then defended himself against the charges in court because he was insolvent and he couldn't afford a lawyer. He was only charged with 10 counts in the first trial. And it's a good thing because he won that trial. So then they charge him with 5 more counts of larceny. There's like, hiya, hidden larceny.
Can you do that? Can you just save counts behind? Like the DA, they can lose, then be like, ha, I'm not left-handed. Do-over. Really?
I know, like, I love it. Like, I get this guy with shit, but this does seem like kind of fucked up. It's like, all right, we're going to charge him with 1 thing every day for a year.
What? The next trial was deadlocked. And then it had to be retried, and he finally lost. The next part of this article blew my mind, though. Quote, remarkably, during his various prison terms, he continued to receive Christmas cards from some of his more gullible investors, as well as requests from others to invest their money from his prison cell. Unquote.
He's doing infomercials from jail, just like, rim jobs in D Block are going for a nice cigarette premium compared to C Block. Invest now.
Did Jim Baker read this autobiography? I feel like he got his inspiration here.
He did. I mean, he did get his inspiration here.
Yeah. After release, he's involved in a real estate scam in Florida and arrested. He then posted bail again, and he tried to change his appearance and shave his head and pose as a crewman on a ship to flee the country, and he's caught. He then served 7 more years in prison. He's then released, and he's deported. He then lived out the rest of his life in obscurity and died poor with only 1 friend.
Ha! See? Worth it. I have 2 friends. That's why I shouldn't do that, because I have a second friend.
Right before his death, he proved what kind of shitty fucker he really was with this quote. Even if they never got anything for it, it was cheap at that price. Without malice aforethought, I had given them the best show that was ever staged in their territory since the landing of the Pilgrims. It was easily worth $15 million to watch me put the thing over.
Yeah, look, I gotta say, like, I kind of am right there with them, right? Like, I mean, how much did we spend on the Iraq War? That was just for shits and giggles, too.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I love that he thought that up until then it was the Pilgrims.
Yeah.
Right? Really? Okay, so if you had to summarize what you learned in 1 sentence, Cecil, what would it be?
Even if you're not sorry, sometimes it's okay to act sorry.
All right, are you ready to face exponentially more difficult questions from our panel?
I am at that.
Okay. So the obvious question I'm sure a lot of our listeners have is, how is what Ponzi did different from the housing crisis and the following bailout? Is it A, the government printed more money, so it's fine? B, Ponzi didn't get a multi-million-dollar bonus when he got caught. C, people who lost their homes in the Ponzi scheme didn't have a feel-good movie with Steve Carell to make them feel better. Or D, eat the rich. Eat them.
I think I'm going to go with D.
It is D.
I've always wanted to
rich.
praise a rich person.
It's very, very rare that you get a vegan giving you that advice. So when you hear it, usually that's going to be the right. Okay,
Singer vegan, you can
You don't
eat
have
the
to braise
rich.
them. They're not that tough. Very soft.
Very soft. Nice quick sear, and then
Yeah,
you're
right.
done.
Yeah.
Just put them in the sous vide
Show
for
it
an
the
hour.
fire.
Yeah.
Not hard lives, man. Not hard lives.
All right, so I get. I've got one for you. Depending on how you answer it, it'll probably change Heath's question. Which of the following is actually a Ponzi scheme? A, the Fed, just like my idiot conspiracy theorist cousin said. B, Social Security, just like his idiot dad said.
That's ad
C,
hominem. I'm sorry.
Medicare, just like his idiot mom said.
Another ad hom. Jeez.
Or D, the industrial-sized bottles of herbal supplements that were sitting unsold in their living room while they were saying all this shit. This is a true story. Remember, Heath
I'm going to go
asked
back to my
his-
first joke that I made that I wrote for Heath and say C.
And I have to say, he's right. You know, it's the formula here. Sorry, Heath. Sorry, Heath. He's right.
When you
on
take
that
someone, you make them
Apparently
work
it's
for free.
Medicare.
I don't want to get into it. It's fine. No, and it's okay. The person's poor, so the not poor person should work for free. It's great. Don't worry about it.
Okay, this one is for Noah's cousin. In what ways is the Federal Reserve exactly like a Ponzi scheme? A, none of the above. That's it. It's A. It's A. It's none of the above. The other choices are B, read a book, and C, I will stab you.
I'm going to go with C. I will stop.
It is I will stab you.
All right. Ponzi schemes were doomed to fail. Obviously, those are dumb. Which of the below are definitely not Ponzi schemes and will surely work out just fine? So give them a shot. A, Cutco. B, Kirby vacuums.
That's
Very
so
nice.
nice.
Go to college.
Yeah, $2,000 vacuum. C, trickle down economics.
Right.
Or D, any job you can get without knowing anything at all and still be promised to make tens of thousands of dollars working from home. No, these are all bullshit. If they worked, no one would ever do anything else. How can you be so stupid?
All right. Well, personal attack, whatever.
Also, you could have just stopped at any job. That's how jobs have to work.
I'm going to. Tell me more about this Kirby vacuum, Tom.
It's actually a whole house cleaning system.
What if I don't have a corkscrew? What can you do with that?
Well, good question.
Is your wife pregnant and you don't want her to be? We have an attachment for that.
Jesus.
Oh, no, it doesn't work on wives, just mistresses, girlfriends. It's a separate
sure.
attachment.
This is an ad for Cutco knives, right?
They're actually bonding together. It's the Floby version for the.
It's Cutco and Kirby coming together. I get you. I get
Suck
you. All right,
Cutco.
so-
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Well, I guess according to a complex, advanced proprietary formula that only can be learned under a gibbous moon, Tom is this week's winner. That means Tom gets to take over as next week's host, and he gets to pick next week's essayist.
All right. If it's my choice, I pick Eli because I'm a glutton for punishment.
All right. And with that, I'll toss it over to Sarah for last week's Twitter answer and this week's Twitter question.
Last week's question was, what other catastrophes have been caused by a blown O-ring? And the answer came from the Rebels Advocate on Twitter. My above-ground pool had a faulty O-ring in the filter. It resulted in an annoying slow leak. Water eroded a path through the sand, which I bought by the bag, and eventually my lawn. Bad as the Challenger? Maybe not, but their ordeal was over pretty quick. Mine lasted all summer. This week's question is, write a haiku about Charles Ponzi. A haiku is a 17-syllable poem divided into 3 lines of 5, 7, and 5 syllables. Just retweet or Facebook share this episode with your answer for a chance to be next week's winner. Back to you, Noah.
All right, well, for Tom, Eli, Heath, and Cecil, I'm Noah. Thank you for hanging out with us today. We'll be back next week, and by then, Eli will be an expert on something else. Between now and then, you can catch all of our other shows, The Scathing Atheist, God Awful Movies, Cognitive Dissonance, and The Skeptocrat. And if you'd like to help keep this show going, you can make a per-episode donation at patreon.com/citationpod, or leave us a 5-star review everywhere you can, or both. And if you'd like to get in touch with us, check out the past episodes, connect with us on social media, or check the show notes. Be sure to check out citationpod.com.
$845 in 1987.
$1,980.
$316 in 1955.
$3,860.
Okay, spell the word dollar.
D A.
There we go. There we go.
W.
Nope.
Dollar.
The Fed isn't a Ponzi scheme. You don't know what one of those things is. It's one of the other of those things you don't know what it means if you say
Kind of a
is.
Ponzi
No, it's
scheme.
not.
It's absolutely nothing like
It's
that.
kind of a Ponzi scheme.
Do you explain the Fed, Eli? What is
They're the
the Fed?
guys who arrest you for drugs.
What is a Ponzi scheme? Like, we just did a whole thing. We just did the whole thing. What's a Ponzi
It's
scheme?
where you jump on the other frog. No, he's the guy who hits the jukebox. I remember now. Bam! And then money comes out.
The shark. He jumps the shark. That makes sense. Yeah. Medicare kind of is, actually. I mean, like, let's be real honest, Heath. Come on, me and you.
No,
me
it
and you,
isn't.
Keith.
It can't
let's be honest with each other.
It can't be a Ponzi scheme if you can be forced to pay into it. When you force someone to pay into it, it's just a funded tax.
But we want to call it a Ponzi scheme, though, to make Heath mad.
Oh, okay. I see.